All right, we're back in my car. No park this time again. I'm just not bothered. Not gonna lie. And plus, I can actually speak normally, unlike in the park. That's why I sound like a robot in the park, but now I can actually speak. So this video is just gonna be about your self-belief and identity, sort of. So we've already covered this topic quite a bit, even in the last video about the nofap. I spoke briefly on how if you identify yourself as someone who faps, then you're going to do that because that's your identity. You associate yourself with that, with the values that you attach to that identity as well. So we can apply that logic with every area in your life. If you're not achieving any of your goals, if you believe like, oh, I can be doing better, you don't need a dopamine detox. You don't need to focus more. You need to align yourself and basically make up some sort of identity, some sort of character. Basically, name this character in your brain. I want you to name this character, associate all of the values, all of the goals that this character has achieved or holds close to his heart, and then slowly ask yourself, what does this person do on a day-to-day? For example, if he's rich and stuff, I'd obviously be like, oh, he's grateful to have every day. He actively wakes up early. He shows his gratitude. He works extremely hard and doesn't procrastinate and stuff. And then you build off from that structure and that formula into basically slowly becoming that person. Every time you sacrifice one day of your current life, you add on another day to that future life that you want, that identity. You become that person. You become 1% closer to that person. If I want to be a bodybuilder, and I'm obviously not a bodybuilder, I would basically put myself in the shoes of a bodybuilder. What do they do every day? Well, obviously, what steroids are they running? But let's not mention that. Then obviously I'd be in the mindset of a bodybuilder or an athlete, and then boom, I can go from there, achieve all my goals, and I become an athlete / bodybuilder, and then I become the person that I was so delusional about becoming, and I've achieved that. And I want you to become so delusional that you are this person. For example, there's so many examples like David Goggins. He named his identity or counterpart Goggins, and then boom, every time he put himself through hell, no, that's Goggins, that's not David. You'll see this with a bunch more examples. For example, the YouTuber Hamza, he used to talk about how he believed that he was an athlete because he used to wake up at 5 a.m, train, count his calories, whatever. And that basically constitutes as an athlete. You train, you eat good, you sleep at a good time, you wake up at a good time, you train. You basically are an athlete. Even though a couple months ago you weren't, as you show yourself through evidence of your own actions and consistency, you have become this person. The first step is to build the identity, then you show yourself that you can carry through with your words and actually do the actions that are required to become this person. As you get into that 2-week mark, you're like, oh shit, I'm actually doing this. I am this person. Become delusional to the point where you know, even if you fail, you learn from those failures and you're like, nope, I'm still this person. I'm still rich. I'm still successful, whatever. Even though you fail, even though you lost a bunch of money or whatever. I saw another video talking about how to sleep, basically, and I interpreted that as sort of a structural or identity shift as well. Basically, you can't sleep if you're awake. Oh, no shit, that sounds so obvious, but you have to act like you're asleep and then you fall asleep. Same thing. As I said, you need to act like someone that already has everything, then you'll just naturally gravitate towards everything. Everything will gravitate towards you. The cost of this new life will cost you everything in your current life. Are you willing to sacrifice for a future that you cannot see immediate results? That's what the main question is. You've made it so far already, and you've got so much to go. Every single person has... Oh, shit. Anyways, every single person has doubted you, so why not prove them wrong? Leave them and leave yourself with nothing but the acceptance of this new reality that you've created. You see how reality is easily manipulated. Not in a sense of, oh, fake it, like you're faking stuff or whatever for like Instagram or whatever, but basically fake it till you make it, and eventually it will actually happen. Put it in your mind that you've already won. You've already, for example, if I walk into a job interview, You've already got the job. They loved you. They promoted you. You're the freaking CEO at this point. That's what the mindset is. Even if you fail, don't become outcome dependent. Always have it in your mind that you've won. At the end of the day, you've lost nothing. If you fail, you've actually gained something. You can learn from that, and now you have more experience than other people, and you've become a better version of yourself than yesterday. You've been given this dream for a reason, and you've been given all these opportunities for a reason, so don't waste it, and just believe in yourself and have some self-love. Show yourself that you can do these habits. Put in a little bit of willpower and discipline just for a bit. Sacrifice a week, and eventually you'll just keep going with it. If you can find yourself a mentor, that's even better, because they are just you a couple years ahead. For example, I know a couple of these guys who like to day trade and stuff, and I'm at the very beginning of my journey, and I'm like, holy shit, these guys have made 6 figures, 7 figures. How are these people like, and they're like around my age, they're a couple years older. And then when I would talk to them, they'd be like, holy shit, this is just me speaking to my past self. And that sort of gave me reassurance, you know. Don't compare yourself to someone else's journey, because you've gone through something completely different, and you should just look at your own progress. Like 6 months ago, I didn't even know what TradingView was. I'm going on sort of a side tangent, but 6 months ago, I didn't know what trading was. Now I'm up to like evals and stuff, if you guys know what that is. And comparing that progress, that's insane. And same thing, like even the guys I would talk to, they're like, oh, 6 months, I didn't even know what evals were. I wasn't close to passing them, whatever. You're way ahead of me. Maybe you'll overtake me. And in my mind, I'm like, wow, that's so like insane. I don't believe that. But then I put into my perspective. I was the exact same thing with the gym. I'm the one with 4 years of experience, for example, benching 140. And then I see some kid from my high school telling me, oh, I'm never going to be able to bench that much. But I'm like, oh, how long have you been going gym for? They're like 6 months. And then I'm like, oh, how much do you bench? They're like 60. I'm like, holy shit. That's huge, because I took like a whole year to bench 60. You see the progress difference, even though momentarily, oh, I'm benching 140 and he benches 60, he took less time to achieve that goal. So never compare yourself to someone else's journey, because who knows, you might be quicker than them, quicker learner. You actually have them as a resource as well, so you have people that are helping you. And yeah, just try to make as many friends with more experience, and even if they're older than you, they can provide with way more experience and speed up your self-improvement progress and your journey to make more money as well. Just be proud to showcase your failures, because every single time you get closer and closer to the person you want to be. And that's about it. This video was sort of like a mixed around and shit, but I hope you learned something from it. If you guys have any YouTube suggestions or anything, just let me know, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks.